Stephen, great to have you here. So much going on with AI in our customer base, in our partner base, in the market. Love to get your thoughts from what you think is going on in our customer base today.
It's great to be here with you, Sandy. And yeah, you're right. There's so much going on in the ecosystem. We have such an opportunity ahead of us. And I think our communities coming together to create that power of three, GSI and ISV, delivering industry-related solutions to our joint customers is where we need to be headed, and just keep doing that at scale.
Yeah, no, I think it's incredible. The power of three to really serve our customers has been a very important theme throughout Ignite. And a lot of partners can come and say, like, look, the customers are asking for industrialized solution, production ready solution, but they're also looking for ROI. And seems like the combination of the ISVs building these industrialized solutions fit for the industry, fit for the vertical, disrupting the current workflows for some of the core business processes in that industry. But then the SIs and the advisories and the consulting coming in and making sure that the customers is achieving the ROI.
Yeah.
Seems like a theme that we can bring together.
I think it's a very repeatable theme, what you just described, and that power of three. Look, the customer is looking to us, to the most important ISVs by industry, the most important advisory and systems integrators that can really help us tie that together and drive that business value. Microsoft's superpower is that platform of platforms. We do have some of our own first-party solutions, but we need to tightly integrate with the ISV community and then have our advisories and systems integrators bring it to life at the customer level.
I mean, Steve, it's almost like it's a big shift for the customers, obviously, and it's much bigger than what we saw cloud transition several years back. How do you see our Microsoft internally, how do we align our teams? How do we think about what's the right sort of model? How do we go after this opportunity, support this ecosystem?
Specifically in the enterprise, Sandy,
Yeah.
We have the best Microsoft sales organization for Microsoft on the planet. But I think we're at this point in the journey where we need to a little bit re-engineer how we think about bringing the solutions to market, and which partners are relevant depending on which industry, which geography, what kind of solutions you're trying to help the customer drive this AI transformation or this frontier transformation that we've been hearing about. So I love to work very closely with the field, expose them to partners that we've known and loved for many years,
Yeah.
but also expose them to new partners who are driving new opportunities for us.
Yeah.
So there's education going on across Microsoft and across our partner ecosystem
Yeah.
that we need to keep doing.
No, and I couldn't agree more. And I would just say also, like, I think this year in FY26, we have done so much shift in compensation and incentives to make sure our sellers are super motivated to sell with our partners, because I think that's going to be key to unlock this opportunity and bring really true ROI for our customers as they're looking at this massive shift in the opportunity. So I do think that the engine is starting to move in the right direction.
For sure, and I think you bring up a good point, and I think that compensation is important for us, also for the partners as well. They're caught in that same: how do we measure impact? How do we measure AI transformation? And how to make sure that our goals and the way that we are compensated is aligned with what our customers are trying to achieve. And that's a really difficult balance to get. We need to constantly iterate on a solution basis with each of our components of the field sales organization and with the partners all together.
Yeah.
Will we ever get it perfectly right? Probably not.
Yeah.
But we need to get it right as much as we possibly can.
No, I couldn't agree more. And like, it'd be great to get your view on, like, when you look at your GSI community and the advisory consulting community, how are they getting ready for this big transformation?
That's a great question. And you and I, we've talked a lot about customer zero.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot about what it takes to be a frontier business in the new AI world. So I think what we're hearing across the communities, and I think not just in GSI, but also in the ISV community as well, they're going beyond just being customer zero at a point solution, and they're looking at the end to end. So if you think about how Judson thinks about being a frontier firm, How do you think about employee engagement? How do you think about the customer in different ways to drive business value?
Yeah.
And then how do you think about the underlying business processes?
Yeah.
All of my partners that I talk to on a regular basis are looking at all of those different aspects. And then finally, bending the curve. We are at an innovation flex and tectonic shift in what's happening in the industry. So we're doing all of those things at different scales and at different speeds across the partner community, where I think we're all on our common journey.
Yeah, no, and I think same in ISVs. If you look at it, like the mix of the ISVs is changing fast. I mean, you see a lot of new partners are coming in which have differentiated data, who were never a software company, but they have very differentiated data in healthcare, in financial services. And suddenly with its agentic sort of movement, they have used marketplace and they are become like a provider to customers as B2B rather than just a customer for us, which is using that data internally. So there's a big shift that's happening. The other one is security and observability is a big piece of where a lot of new partner ecosystem is coming together. We see a lot of new emerging partners as well as some of the very established partners really raise the game on, once you have this billion agents in around the world, like how do you bring governance and observability and identity and all that stuff together? So it's a lot of shift happening in the ecosystem.
Look, you're probably seeing it more than me in the kind of partners that you manage and the kind of partners that are fast rising software development. You know, we used to say cloud native, now we probably say more agentic and AI native.
Yes.
So, but I do have in my community of partners also those fast risers, those changing partners. Look, I love all of my partners, I truly do. But in this agentic AI world, the winners and losers are yet to be discovered and are yet to be established. And so we all have an opportunity. And I want all of our partners to be on the winner side of that argument going forward. But over the last 2 years, you're working with partners that didn't exist 2 years before that.
Totally.
And there's some great examples of the fast rise of that kind of partnership that we all need to get our arms around.
Yeah, exciting time in the industry, Stephen, for this ecosystem and for us and for our customers. Any last message you want to leave for our partners?
Well, look, the future is incredibly bright. I think the opportunity, I use the word boundless, I've heard limitless. It's as big as our imagination will allow us to be. And I think we've got just a wonderful opportunity to infuse our partner ecosystem with our energy, with our platforms, and then let them help us translate and transform our joint customers together. So exciting times.
Love it. And I would just call out and say for the partners, this is a great opportunity for the community to come together. There's so much synergy between different types of partners, bringing different capabilities to the customer. And I think this is the time to think about disruptive ideas.
Yeah.
Think like not just automating what exists, but think about totally disrupting the entire workflow and do something different. The business model changes. So really an exciting opportunity. And I think we're going to have a great FY26.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Sandy, it's always great to hang out with you. And thanks to everybody out there for what you do today and what we're going to be able to achieve in the future as well.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you.